Hey, what's up, guys? Today we're going to be showing you how to make this awesome Pac-Man game. It's just a display. So all the bullet points are loading in, and after 5 seconds, the whole game actually starts. Okay, I better turn down my volume a bit, but yeah, you get the idea of how the game works. Okay. So yeah, this is the game. Yeah, you go around collecting the points, and the objective of the game is really to just collect all the points, and you gotta avoid these monsters who will try to kill you as soon as they touch you. Um, yeah, so I forgot to mention this, but I'm using a new screen recorder, and yeah, so now I have unlimited time of recording, so the videos will probably be a bit longer now. Yeah, so you win. I'm just gonna quickly do that again. This time I'm just gonna go ahead and touch the monsters to show the you lose. Oops, game over. Okay, so yeah, that's pretty much the game. So let's get started with it. So right now I have a yeah, this one. So I've got a pre-made. I've just copy pasted the maze, like saved. So the way you do it is if you have a maze picture um from your other Scratch games, maybe you can click export and you can put it in a folder and save it. The same thing with the sprites, with the costume and the code. You can like click export and export a sprite. So for example, let me just quickly do this. You choose a sprite. At the top, there's an upload sprite. If I click that, let's say I'm doing Pacman dot sprite 3. This was my Pacman. It had all the code, but I just removed the code so that I could show you guys the code how to do it. It's supposed to be a tutorial, so delete this. So I have all these. So these are all drawn on my own, but I'm just going to show you what else is there. So in all the ghosts, there's just one costume. So you can just copy, duplicate these. Right click on the sprite over here and duplicate. So you can get a duplicate of Blinky and you can recolor and name it Inky. So same way. So Pac-Man has two costumes. One is a regular circle. Second one is a piece of the circle is cut. This so if you constantly keep switching between these two, it makes it look like he's eating. Right. So first, let's go ahead and do this. Right now, when flag clicked, right when we want to start the game, forever switch costume to Pac-Man. Let's make a slight delay. Let's make it zero point 0.5 seconds. Oh, 0.5. And then we'll make it switch costume to Pac-Man. And then let's put another wait 0.5 seconds. Now let's okay, looks like they're hidden, but I'll just quickly so just pull out the show, put the show in the when flag. Okay, looks pretty good. Mm. But this is a lot pretty bigger code. You can instead of doing all of these 4 lines, you can do it in just one line. Sorry, 2 lines, but yeah. So I'm just gonna remove this. Remove the switch costume. So if you go into looks, you'll see a next costume. Um, yeah, you'll see a next costume. Next costume. Forever next costume. Wait 0.5 seconds. You can see it's doing the same function, but yeah. So next, what we want to do is duplicate this, clear out the rest of the code. So now we're going into the moving basics. So right now our Pacman is just constantly biting. So we want to make him move around the maze and we don't want him to walk through the walls. So right now let's go ahead and do when flag clicked forever. If then, again, this is from my first video, the meteor dodge. We're gonna change X by, I'm gonna go with 3 right here. So I'm gonna go to sensing, key right arrow pressed. So what this is basically doing is it's constantly checking as long as the code is not stopped by some other things. It constantly checks, are you pressing the right arrow? If you are, then I want to change move right by 3 steps. So I'm just gonna quickly do this. You can see that it's moving. But yeah, now I'm just gonna go ahead and quickly duplicate this. If then key left arrow pressed, -3. Now let's try that again. You can move left and right. You could always adjust the speed to your liking, but right now for this video, I'm using this. Now I'm just gonna duplicate these two. Um, yeah, I'm gonna stop the code. Up arrow, down arrow. But we don't want to change X, we want to change Y. So X is right and left, but Y is up and down. So this is like really important when you're doing this, so you can understand how to move them better. So I'm gonna change Y by, again, 3 is my preference right now. And let's go for -3. So now if you can try it, you can move your Pac-Man around and yeah, it's pretty simple. So the thing is now you're walking through the walls and we don't really want that to happen. And also it looks pretty weird that he's moving around in the same direction. So gotta fix those. Now first of all in motions, look around, there'll be a point in direction. So the point and direction, I'm just gonna duplicate and make 4 of them for each direction. Okay, now that you can see I've placed them. So point in direction 90 meaning point right. So if I click this, it's gonna turn right. Now if you wanna go, let's go down actually. So down is gonna be 180. If you can like remove this and write 180, you'll get it down. So if I click this now, it's going pointing down. So let's go to this one. If I click -90, it's gonna be moving left. Click this, it'll be moving left. And lastly, if I type 0, he'll be pointing up. Right. So now let's just put these in the respective places. Up arrow pressed, point in direction. Left arrow pressed, point in direction. Right arrow, point in direction. Point in direction for down. So now if I click this and I can see depending on which key I press, I'm moving in that direction. So this also just adds to the aesthetics of the game. So now let's go to another if. Now this if is going to be sort of common for all of them. But yeah, if then touching color. So this is something we haven't used yet. But this checks if Pacman is touching a certain color. For let's say for example, I'm gonna use the pick color. Want to select this black. So now that we've selected the black, um, now I'm gonna go ahead and put the opposite. So right here, should have duplicated. Never mind. Change x by -3. So I'm just gonna duplicate this for now, but I'm just gonna put this one in. So if this is change x by 3, I want this to be -3 so that it goes in the opposite direction. Okay, sorry about this background noise, but yeah. So now if I try and move right, it doesn't move through the walls even if I'm spam clicking. But for the other directions, it doesn't work yet because I haven't added the code yet. So let's go to change x by 3 and I'm going to duplicate this again. If direction change x by 3, this is -3, this should be 3. So basically the opposite in positive and negative, right? So now if you try left and right, both you can like block by the walls. Yeah. So now I'm going to duplicate this, but this time I don't need the x, I need the y. So I'm gonna go here, change y by 1 should be minus 3 and the other one will be 3. Oh, oops. Then, yeah. So now I don't want to put this one here because that's the wrong place. I want it to be the opposite. So change y by 3 will be in the down arrow and change y by minus 3 will be the up arrow. Now if I like click, now I can't go through any walls. You can test it for yourself with this code. So this code has been tested. It's just from my game that I just showed you guys. So this is basically the movement code for the Pacman. And I've added the code to make him change his costume so it looks like he's fighting. This is all done. Now in this video I will not be covering any of these monsters, ghosts, what do you want to call them. But in this video I will be covering the bullets, the score points. I'm gonna create a new, paint a new costume. I'm gonna rename it to points actually in this one. So since we renamed it to points, now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go to code, costumes. I'm gonna like scroll in, um, take my pen tool. I'm gonna check the thickness, upgrade it to like whatever you feel is pretty good. So so that looks a little big to me, so I'm gonna maybe use this 16. Yep, 16 looks like a good thing, and I'm gonna change the color too, but this I'm just gonna quickly center it. Yeah, I'm gonna fill color with absolute white. So I'm just gonna fill this with white. So this looks like a lot like the this looks a lot like the Pacman bullets that we've just done. So now let's go into the code. This is again this is now this part is like totally dependent on your maze, and you'll have to adjust your you might have to adjust your maze a bit depending on how you're doing it. But yeah, gonna shift it here. Yeah, so now that you shifted it here, so I want to skip the bit in the middle for my maze because that's a little cluttered. So on the top right now, when flag clicked, we're gonna repeat 10 times. We're gonna create change x by, let's keep it as 42, right? And I want to go to this position first and control. Again, this is something we probably haven't done yet, but create clone of myself. So repeat, this is our code right now. When flag clicked, go to this position, repeat 10 times, create clone of myself, change x by 42. So yeah, I'm just gonna click this. And as you can see, it's created a bunch of clones, right? Now the clones don't really do anything, but yeah, I'm gonna quickly do the code for that too. But yeah, so the way this works is for this tutorial, I'm not gonna show it, but then again, I want you to do this again. Go to this place. So now I want to change the y by a bit. So let's say here. What's this y now? Um, this should be minus 260. Sorry. Yeah. And I want to change my y to lower it. So I'm going to use 120 because that's where my dot is at. Right. So now that it's gone here, I want to just basically duplicate this. Now if I'm gonna test it, yeah, this also works perfectly well. I mean, actually, I'm just gonna change this to 11 because I have a feeling that's what fits well. Yeah, just about fits maybe. Maybe I'm just gonna change this to 43. Okay, let's just try that again. Okay, that's kind of glitching out a little. Okay, 42 is just good. Put 42. Yeah. So this seems like perfectly fine with me. I'm happy with this. But right now what we really need to do is you just gotta duplicate this all the way to the bottom. And before that I gotta just quickly show you another bit of code. So I wanna hide the real one. Go to so and so places. So I want you to just repeat this all the way to the bottom depending on how your maze is. So I'm not gonna be showing that right now because I don't really have time for it. But yeah, that's basically what you got to do. Now we're going to go on to the clone part. So we want the clone to disappear and give us a point every time we hit it. So go to when I start as a clone. When I start as a clone, this basically tells the clone what to do when it's a clone. Right. When flag clicked forever, if then, again we're going to touching, sensing, and we're going to do touching Pacman. When it's touching Pacman, we want it to disappear and add a point to our score. So we're going to go to variables, rename my variable to let's put score, right? When flag clicked, set score to 0. If touching Pacman, change score by 1. And now we want to do something to get rid of the clone, delete this clone. Now the thing is, since the original is hidden, when it starts as a clone, it's gonna all hide. So if I green flag, there's nothing over here, right? So now we want to change this. So go to looks, put a show after the when I start as a clone. Now if you try this, you can see all the clones have appeared. So now, yeah. And now just to prove that this happened, I'm gonna show score, it's gonna be 4. So, and if I flag click again, score is gonna be 0. Let's just live check. Yeah, you can see that it's adding the score to, yeah, so it's also disappearing all of it. So now the thing is, what you need to do is before doing the monster part, right, before going to part 2, I'm gonna add a code. So right now I've collected all my bullets, right? I'm just checking that. So since I've collected all the bullets and my score is 22, it's just a trial. So like in the real one, you're gonna fill the whole thing. We're gonna go to backdrops. I want to create 2 new backdrops. So my first new backdrop is paint a new backdrop. Gonna take this, convert to bitmap. Here I want to take the fill, pick color. I want to pick this blue color because it looks pretty good. Fill with blue color. This one's going to be called and another one use. Right. So now that I'm happy with this, I'm just going to fill, convert to bitmap, fill this one in. Here, both places we're going to convert to vector. Here, I'm using the pixel text, pixel font. Um, Change the fill to complete black because I think this looks cool. I'm going to type uwin in the uwin. Okay. Put full caps. Now you can take the selected and make it big enough for you, as big as you're liking. So I think this looks pretty good. Just move it around a little, be center it. Yeah, you win. Now here I wanna do the same thing. Convert to vector, text tool. Here black, lock it you lose. Now again uncaps lock. Select it, make it as big as you please. Um, and center it. Yep, that's pretty much it. So now the code for this, even in the backups you can do the code, but you can't move them around obviously. So then flag clicked forever, but before that I wanna, when it starts I wanna switch backdrop to maze. That's basically my, sorry, maze. That's basically my Pacman maze thing. So forever, if then, use operators equals to, So right now my maximum score possible is 22. But for you, how many ever it takes, how many ever bullets you made, how many ever scores you can add, you need to put that score over there. Variables, take this. If score equals 22, then we're going to do something we've not really done before. Use broadcast. It's going to be in events, broadcast message one. I want to rename it so that I'm more clear about what it does. Broadcast you win. Right. So when I broadcast you win, basically I've won the game. I want to stop everything. So yeah, you know what to do. Gonna go to control, stop all. But yeah, now this is basically it. Switch backdrop also. So we need to now switch backdrop to you win and stop all. Right. Um, there's one more thing we should do later on. Um, the other thing we need to really do is go to Pacman, told him to show. Yeah. So now we want to go to backdrops, stop all. So go back to Pacman. When I receive you win, going to be in events again. We need to make him hide. We don't want him to show when the win screen is there, right? That'll look weird. So let's just try this again. So my score, this is working right now good. It switched the backdrop to the right one. Um, right. You win. He's hidden. Now he's again come back. Now the other thing I want to do is points. So change score by one. This is just another thing that you probably noticed. Start sound. Now I want to go to sounds. We've never really done this before, but I'm gonna go to sounds, add, choose a sound. They have a pre-made sound. It's called, go to wacky. It's going to be a bite. I'm going to select the bite. Hear it. It's got a pretty satisfying sound. So this is what I'm going to use. Start sound, not pop, bite. So now you can try it. Okay, yeah, that sounds really funny. But yeah, thanks for watching, and that's going to be it for this episode. Make sure to watch part 2 if you want to finish the game.